Hi, James.
Hey, Dean.
How you been?
Good, yourself?
Good, good. I was gonna say we should catch up. I wanted to catch up and see how things have been going and stuff. So maybe we can grab some time next week if that's good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make time for that.
Perfect. Good, good. All right, we got some people joining in here.
All right. I'll catch up with you next week.
Okay, yeah, I'll follow up with you after the call.
All right.
Thanks,
Perfect.
James. Thanks.
Take care.
All right, should get some people starting to come in here. Happy Friday to everybody. Let me see here. Okay. I think this is a week back from Sweet World and a quarter end close. I know this month's class probably had the lower registration rate, so we'll see how many people actually show up, but happy to kind of still walk through some material today. Could be fairly interesting. We'll give it a couple more minutes, and Charles, who I think you guys have met before, who kind of helps co do these with me, he should be jumping on in a couple minutes as well. So, all right, see a few more people starting to come in. While we're giving it a few minutes, it might be interesting. Any thoughts if anybody's been following, all the Sweet World buzz, maybe you were at Sweet World. Kind of curious to get, what stood out to you or what was your biggest takeaway from some of the announcements and some of those things. If you want, put it in the chat. And we'll just give it a few more minutes for people to join and then we'll get started. Can you see my screen okay? Zobel, do you guys see the PowerPoint deck okay? Okay. My camera might be a little bit darker. I'm working from home today, so let's hopefully that cooperates with us here. Okay. Well, like I said, I think the first week back from Sweet World and it's quarter close for most people. Um, so hopefully we'll let others join in if they join, but let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for sharing some time here on a Friday. So this month's masterclass is we wanted to show how you can maybe leverage or build a intranet in NetSuite. So that's what we're going to be covering here today. Again, typically when we go through this, want to start with what's our objective, right? Our objective is to really help people get the most out of NetSuite. NetSuite's a great, powerful system, but it takes time to get used to it and really figure out how to get the most out of it. And some of the things that we typically see, right, within the space, we help a lot of clients and a lot of users. It's lack of training, um, you know, especially around safe searches, reporting, CSV imports, how to do advanced PDF. There's so much that you can do. NetSuite's such a big system. So, the most common thing that we hear is, I don't know what I don't know, or I'm not the NetSuite expert. How would I know? So really, we're always, challenged by that. We want people to enjoy using NetSuite and get the most out of it for what it is. So that's kind of what the spirit of these classes are about. So it's to help both companies and their users get the most out of their investment in NetSuite. Um, our agenda today, right? We just quickly go through some introductions, overview an example of use case. So again, we're going to show how you can create an intranet, leveraging, knowledge-based topics and solutions. These are native NetSuite features. And then we'll go into a live Q&A, and next steps. So I believe everybody on the call here has been to our classes before and know myself and Charles, so we can kind of skip the introductions here for now, but it's in here if you any interest there. And again, about the Scale North team, essentially, we are a solution provider, right? We sell, we implement NetSuite, we help users get the most out of it. We offer accounting services on NetSuite. So these are just some of the KPIs and metrics that kind of gives you a little bit of a makeup about who we are, who our team is. Again, our goal is to be your one-stop shop for all things NetSuite. So whether it's technical services, whether it's accounting services, whether it's support, managed services arrangements, things like that, we offer it all, and we want to be your one-stop shop for NetSuite and NetSuite help. This is just some of our technology partners that we partnered with. It's not the complete list, but it's probably the ones that we generally do see in the ecosystem and within our client base. So some of these may stand out to you. If you ever have any questions on any of these or how you would fold them into your NetSuite or what benefits they bring, always happy to have those conversations. We can coordinate that accordingly. Okay. And then the disclaimer that we always have to give, we are doing this in the spirit of teaching and training and showing what's possible. So we're using a demo account. Hopefully most users and companies have a sandbox account. Always recommended to try stuff out in a sandbox, not just go, guns blazing in your production environment. Just a disclaimer that, Scale North is not responsible for any actions not taken by Scale North, but the spirit here is to show and to teach, and hopefully you can learn something from these classes. Okay, so with that being said and getting through that, we're going to jump right into how you would create an internal intranet. Um, Starting off with, this is kind of the configuration that we're going to cover. So to kind of get the solution working, here's somewhat of the steps. So number one, we have to enable features. And I'm just going to pause really quick. Can you give me in the chat or come off mute? Let me know. Can you guys hear me okay or see the screen? Everything's good. I just don't want to go the whole session and you guys can't hear or see me. Okay, perfect. So yeah, so we would have to start off with enabling some features in your NetSuite environment. So you're going to enable some website features. as well as some publishing features, specifically the intranet. Then you would create a website in your account. Seems like sometimes there's already a starter website in there that you can edit and modify, but we'll show that. And then once you have that configuration done, you can actually start to set up the intranet. So you do that by creating a tab, which we'll show. And then really, once you have your tab and all this setup done, it functions by just adding topics, solutions, and you just publish those topics. And then now it's an intranet that people can interact with and go to for information and things like that. So that's kind of what it takes to get one of these set up. What's going to follow now is how we actually do that and set it up. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a sec and let me bring up NetSuite. So give me another thumbs up if you don't mind, or a hand wave or some type of reaction if you can see NetSuite. Okay. And I think Charles, you just joined. Can you hear us okay, Charles?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
No, you're good. Can you see NetSuite, Charles?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Let's see. One sec. Switch this up for a sec here. Okay. So if we could see NetSuite, then we'll get into it. So the first step, like I said, is you need to go to Setup, Company, Enable Features, and you'll see when you're in the Enable Features section that there is a Web Presence subtab. If you come over here, you'll see the different website options. The three that we noted needed to be enabled for this was the website, and then there's these two site builder ones. We had those boxes checked, so you'll want those checked. The other ones were already checked. I didn't mess with that, but it's really these three right here. And then as far as if you scroll down a little bit more, you get into the publishing. So you have host HTML files. That was already checked. Document publishing was also checked. The only one that I checked was this one here, intranet. So operate an intranet site for your employees, customers, vendors, partners, whatever. So that was really the only enable features setup that was done. And then next would be to actually create the website. So again, if you come to commerce websites, you'll see you could either create new or you may even have a starter one there that you can just start to modify. This was already here in the account. So you can view it. I didn't have to do much with it because we're not actually creating an external facing website. It's actually, just internal within. But you do need this site here in order to be able to leverage this intranet capability. Just more of a setting type thing. So didn't actually touch much here. This was already all in here. You could try to play around with it, but I left it mostly as is. Um, what you'll notice, and don't be alarmed, so if I try to actually preview this website, it actually gives me that it's an invalid domain. So all that means is this is not really like out on the internet, open on the internet for people to join. Um, for our purposes, because this is meant to be more internal facing and just within your NetSuite environment, that's okay. We could ignore that for now. It seems like you could still get it to work internally within your NetSuite environment, which is the goal anyways. So that was it from a setup perspective. Um, Now we can proceed to actually starting to set up an intranet. So to do that, we'll go to setting up one of the tabs that I was talking about. So if you go to setup, you'll actually see you have an intranet topic here and a tab, and we're going to create a new tab. And we're going to create what's called a presentation tab. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And then we'll go ahead and name this. So this is, I'm going to say Scale North MC13. And this is how to build an intranet. So intranet. Okay. You select your website. There's only one in here, so that's already populated. Uh, It says display in website. That's okay. The only thing I did here is I made it available to all roles. If you wanted to specify which roles could see this tab, you can do that. But in here, I'm just going to say it applies to all roles, and we'll go ahead and save. So now I've created a tab, and you can actually see that now. If I hover over the three dots, here's my new tab that I just created, right? So if we go to it, you now have a starting point of an intranet, right? It's blank. It doesn't do anything right now. We're going to start adding in the pieces now, but at least we have the basic setup there and you can get to the tab for it. So now what's left to do is to just start basically creating some topics, some solutions, publishing it out to here and start to let this thing start to take some shape. So we can jump right into that. Um, so we're going to start by creating the example we'll walk through today. I was going to create some accounting topics, some sales topics and solutions, kind of touch on different variations of each so you can kind of see some use cases in action. And that's what we'll do. So I'm going to start by creating our accounting topics first. So to start creating some topics, you just go to lists, support, and here's basically the three options that we're talking about that we're going to be exploring today. A topic, a solution, and then you publish your topics using this knowledge base. So let's start off with a topic. I'm going to create it called accounting. So this is going to be like my top level. So I'll create an accounting topic. And then if we want, we can actually create a subtopic. So maybe underneath accounting, I'm going to have a section for training videos. And then I'll just say that will roll up to accounting, right? And I can save that. So now that we've done that, if I hit list here, you can see I just started create my topics and you kind of see the indentation and how they're being set up. So training videos rolls up to accounting. Now I'll go ahead and create our sales topic and subtopic. So just hit new again. This one will be called sales, pretty easy. And then we'll add another one. I'll add a sub one called processes. So maybe I want to start putting my sales processes on this intranet. So that will roll up to sales and save. So just like that, you can now see we got our topics. It's telling you that you don't have any solutions or anything published yet. So one thing interesting to note is if I go check out our intranet tab, you still don't see anything. And that's okay, because the only way that you get topics to show up on your intranet is you have to publish them. So that's what we'll show next. So to publish, basically we just go to list, support, and now you go to knowledge base. And if we hit new, this is where you publish a topic. So it says, which topic would you like to publish? With which site? Where do you want to publish it to? So really, you only have to publish the parent topics. By publishing the parent, it's already incorporating the child topic or subtopic as well. So we only have two header or main topics. It's accounting. So we'll do accounting. Which site do you want it to be associated with? Well, we only have the one site that we've set up. Where do you want to publish it to? I'm going to publish it to our intranet that we set up. And then display in websites already checked. And then again, you can specify if you want this to be only for certain roles, departments, subsidiaries, whatever. In this case, I'm going to do all roles and we'll hit save. And then now we can add the next one. We'll publish the next topic, which was sales. So again, the parent topic, same thing, which site, where do you want to publish it to our intranet that we created, display in website, roles, save. Okay, so now we've done that. So now that it's published, if we actually go back to our intranet, we should now see it showing up. So you can see it here, starting to take some shape, right? If you click on it, there's nothing yet, right? It doesn't do anything because we haven't actually added the solutions and stuff, but at least we have a framework that we can continue to start building out and incorporating. So that's what we'll do next. We need to start adding some of our solutions to these topics. So we'll start with adding the accounting solutions. Um, the first solution that we'll do is we'll maybe add something for our chart of accounts. So I'm going to go to lists, support, and now we're going to do a solution. Okay, so this wants you to give it a name or a title. So I'm going to call it chart of accounts. Okay, you have to approve a solution before it will show up on the intranet. So I'll go ahead and set it to approved. You'll want it to be displayed online, so I checked that box. Next, it wants you to provide an abstract. If you click on the field help, it's just a brief description about what this is going to do, right? Um, so I already kind of came up with one. I use ChatGPT. It's kind of helpful to generate text. If you don't really know, you can try out some things, but I'm just going to paste in some text here so you kind of see some canned language about what a chart of accounts is, why it's important, whatnot. And then when it comes to the description field, this is where you actually would have your steps or hyperlinks or different things that you want to be displayed when you're actually in the solution. So here I'm going to give it a description really quick. So we got a description, and maybe we want to, use some, this is a rich text box field. Both of these are, so you can put some formatting. Maybe we want to add a bullet point. And so we'll say you can access the NetSuite chart of accounts by navigating to or by searching page colon chart of accounts in the search bar or by using the link below. Maybe I want to put this in red text. I can change the color of the font here. And then we'll actually get the hyperlink for the chart of accounts. So page, chart of accounts. There we go. I'll open that up in a new tab. So I just copy this URL. I can come back here now and we can insert. Here's a little link. If you click that, you just paste your URL, hit the green icon. So now I have this basically hyperlinked. Um, that looks good for the most part. All you have to do is say which topic is this solution for. So this is going to be linked to our accounting topics. And then we should be good. I'll go ahead and hit save. And just like that, we created our first solution. So now if we go check it out, if we go back to our intranet page and we go into accounting, you can now see we got something here about the chart of accounts. You're seeing what the abstract was. And then if we actually drill into it, you're getting to the actual solution. It's telling you a little bit more. And then we got the link here that you can click on to quickly get to your chart of accounts. So it's just kind of an example of how you can build out, uh, different ways to get around things, have information. So that's one starting example that we looked at. So we'll continue with the next two accounting solutions that we're going to show. So let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate back to list, support, solutions, and create a new one. This one we're going to call, maybe we want to have our accounting close calendar accessible right from the intranet. So I'm going to call this accounting close calendar. Okay, again, it has to be approved to show up. So I'll go ahead and do that. Display online. And then we want an abstract. So again, I kind of copied some text that we can put in here for now, but you can put whatever you feel like. And then from a description standpoint, I'll put in a description. Okay. And then again, just showing how you can kind of play with this rich text box. Maybe I want to put in a heading and, you you can access the latest accounting close calendar using the link below. So kind of leveraging what we showed on the last example, um, just showing a little bit more functionality. Maybe I'll make that purple. And then now we want to put another link. So we use Box here at Scale North for our document management system. So I can put a direct link to a Box folder. And then now I got that in there as well. And then again, same thing. We'll put our topic. This is going to roll up to accounting as well. And then I'll save. So we got two solutions in there. Um, Now we'll try the last solution, which is our training videos. So this is kind of cool. The next step we're going to show here. So let's create another solution. We'll go to list, support, solutions, new. And this one's an example where I'm going to take a YouTube video as a training video and we'll make it into a solution. So we had done a masterclass. One of our first ones was called CFO Toolkit. So I'm just going to make that the title. Again, approved, display online. We can give it an abstract. So, you know, something like this. So in this training video, we'll cover how to create pivot tables, pivot charts, dashboards, KPIs, right? Just explaining what are you going to learn in this training video. And then when it comes to a description, you can actually embed an iframe. So a lot of platforms like YouTube, like Lucidchart, things like that, you can normally get the HTML or the iframe embed. So if you go to the YouTube videos and you hit share, you'll see an embed option, and then you just copy the URL. So what we're going to do is you can turn this rich text box field. If you hit source, it will ask you for the code. And then all you have to do is basically copy and paste that URL here. So there it is. You see that? There's the code. And then again, we will publish this. But now instead of accounting, I want this to be just one of many training videos. So I'm going to link this to the subtopic for training videos under accounting. And we should be good. We'll hit save. So now that we've done that, we've added all of our accounting solutions. If you want to see them, again, you go to list, support, solutions. We can kind of see them listed out here. You can see which topics they're rolling up to, what they are. They're all approved and they're all showing to display online. So we can try out those other two solutions that we just added. So let's go to our intranet. Let's go into accounting. We already looked at the chart of accounts, but we can look at the accounting close calendar. If we bring up that link here, you see it will just take you right to it, to the box path. We can open this up in Excel online and just start making real-time changes, right? So again, kind of a nice shortcut, nice way to kind of get to where you need to navigate to. So that's working pretty well. Let's see if we go back. If I can go back, we could look at our training video. Here it is, CFO Toolkit, how to create pivot tables, dashboards, KPIs. And then if you actually drill into it, you now see the embedded YouTube video, which you can play right from here.
Hear Dean and see his screen. I just want to make sure audio.
Right? You can make it bigger, full screen. So all that's pretty cool that you don't really have to leave NetSuite. You start to put all your data, and organize it in a way that, your team, your users, or colleagues can, use as an intranet. So that was pretty good on the accounting side. Next, I'm going to roll right into our sales solutions. We can keep it rolling. So before I do that, though, let's show a kind of an interesting feature. You can see here that you have a search box up here in the intranet. So you can use that to start searching for what's listed out here on the intranet. So as an example, if we just go back to the intranet here, and I'm going to search for, let's say, CFO, it finds, okay, I see that you have something about a CFO toolkit here. Okay. Or if we go back and maybe we search COA for chart of accounts, it can see right here, oh, COA is listed under chart of accounts. So you can leverage this search bar. It's probably not the most robust best search, but it's pretty helpful, and it may help your users kind of search and find their way around the internet. The other cool thing is that most of these topics and solutions are also global searchable. So if I was also to search CFO up here in our main search bar, you can see that it found that there's a solution with CFO in it, and you can get right to it from there too. So you can leverage both the intranet search as well as the global search in NetSuite if that's helpful to try to, navigate to where you're trying to get to certain information. All right. So with that being said, let's jump into creating our sales solutions. So the first one, we're going to go lists, support, solutions, new. Okay. And this is going to be a flow chart. So we'll say sales process flow, be approved, display online. Maybe we just say the following sales process flow in Lucid chart. Okay. And then now, same thing. If you go to Lucid chart, if you have Lucid chart, you can go to File, Embed, and it will let you again copy the iframe right from Lucid chart. I switched it to a large setting. You could choose small, medium, or large on what size you want it to be. I set it to large. And then again, same thing. You just copy that URL. Um, let's see. One sec. I think it's just right here. So I'm going to change this to source really quick so I can paste in our URL. That should be good. And we're going to have this roll up to our sales topic now. And then we can hit save. Okay. So we got that. And then next we will add our another solution. This is to show if you wanted to try to create like a SOP or some screenshots and instructions of a process. So we'll create another solution here. And so we'll say maybe we're going to show how to create a lead. So how to create a lead. We'll approve it, display it online. Again, you can give it an abstract, these are the instructions of how to create a lead in NetSuite. And then now you can just start kind of building out your screenshots and your instruction here. So again, you could maybe start by giving it a heading, how to create a lead in NetSuite. And then maybe we can just start using some bullet points, some numbering. So number one, navigate to lists, relationships, um, leads, new. But then again, if you want, we can also maybe take a screenshot. So list, relationship, leads, new, right? Maybe I could take a snippet right of that. Because again, seeing is a lot easier for users. You got to have some screenshots in there. Let's see. Where did that go? Not seeing it. Let me see if I can grab it. If not, I have a screenshot here instead. And you should be able to just paste that directly in. So now you got a screenshot in there. Let's see. I'm gonna resize this a bit. So I make it really small, just so it's not super big in there. And then you can keep going. You know, add some more text, continue to build out your process, right? And you just start to kind of mock this up and you can use this as your instructions. And then again, we're going to link this to our processes subtab, and then we should be good. So we've added our solution. So now we can go test our sales solution. So if we go to our intranet and we go into sales, if we go into the sales process flow, now you can see literally your Lucid chart right without even having to leave NetSuite. You got all the different subtabs here you can navigate. So this is all pretty cool to just have that already right in your NetSuite on the intranet. And then if we go to our process, how to create a lead, you can start to see your documentation listed out here, right? So I know that was a lot to cover, and I kind of went through it pretty quickly, but Charles, I want to hand it maybe back to you. I know you joined, but yeah, maybe we could get some thoughts, feedback, and I don't think we have a huge crowd today, so we can maybe open it up to some Q&A and just see what else is on people's, top of mind after Sweet World last week and just have a good chat.
If you went to Sweet World, put SW or put an S in the chat. I'm just curious. I know Zobel, I saw you there. Good to meet you in person. But yeah, what questions you guys have? We can open it up. I don't think we had any in the Q&A section. Any questions, guys? Feel free to raise your hand, or if not, we can kind of keep going. No, good to go.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we did run into some people at Sweet World last week. It was nice to meet some people in person. That was cool.
Yeah.
Um,
April's asking, what if we need to extract the data?
if you have to extract the data that's in this intranet,
Here, April, I don't know which one is you, but I'm gonna allow, you have two in there, so I allow you to talk if you wanted to come on, April. There's two of you in there, so.
You unmuted the wrong one. It's the other one.
the other one.
I can hear April laughing.
Oh,
God,
okay.
there's two Aprils in there, so.
This is
Yeah.
Dean.
Okay.
There we go. Now both Aprils should be able to talk.
There we go. Yes, I multiplied myself with some of my team members, so sorry
Hey,
about
you never have too much April.
that. Right.
Hey, April.
Yeah. What if we needed to just extract this information to be able to send it a different way? So I love the fact that it's in one single area, but what if, if we put all of our content in here, is there a way to be able to pull that content out easily enough from the system as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Again, most of this stuff is like here, they're actual records, right? So if I wanted to see the topics, they're here. You can export this to Excel. I think you can maybe include like some of the field definitions and all that stuff. But if you were to, depending on what you're going to do with that information or what other format it would be consumed, you would maybe need like the HTML version of it if you're going to go try to put it on another website or something like that. But that you can extract this out. I just don't know how helpful it would be in this form per se.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah.
Dean.
Yeah. And the other thing too is I wanted to show this because it was interesting.
Mhm.
I don't know how many people are actually using, an intranet in NetSuite. I have had a few clients who are using it because they want as much stuff in NetSuite as possible, like as the source of truth. But I think a lot of people maybe build out, either in Microsoft or like, SharePoint. And I mean, there's not a right or a wrong here, but the goal was to show, I don't even think most people knew you could even do this, right? So it's like the goal is to show, hey, maybe this is possible. Maybe this is, relevant to you, maybe not. If you have nothing, it's could get the job done, right? It could be helpful. Maybe you don't have to use it for every part of your business, but just even training videos or how-to things in NetSuite, might as well put it out here. It might be easier to access, and you can use a little bit of the features and functions. So I'm not trying to push this as like the best thing, ever, but I was surprised and kind of cool. I didn't honestly know about this that much other than I've heard some clients play around with it before.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very resourceful. It's good to know that this capability exists within NetSuite. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, April. Um, any other questions, concerns? Again, it doesn't have to be on the topic here today. Maybe just, again, we asked earlier as people were joining, like there's a lot of announcements at Suite World last week, a lot going on within the NetSuite and the ERP space. Be curious to maybe just kind of open it up to a forum and get some conversation going on like, what are you seeing? What's interesting? What are you scared about? I hear a lot of people scared about things, so just be kind of curious. And Charles, you heard a lot too, so I mean, you could chime in with what you're hearing and seeing.
I'll let you guys speak to it. For me, I actually want to see it come out, all the stuff that they talked about,
Hmm.
actually seeing stuff roll out. The AI seems pretty cool, continue to grow on their AI. We do have an AI accelerator as well. If you didn't see our session, what was it, August session
Hmm.
11, right? Dean did a really good job on our AI use cases one, so that was a really good one as well. I think we have a question in the Q&A. So Roy asked if there is time, I'll be curious of your experience of the box to NetSuite integration. We're approaching 1 TB with the file cabinet.
Got it. Yeah, Roy. Do, I guess you don't have Box, maybe. Do you have Box already and you also use the file cabinet, or are you thinking like you would need to get a file storage solution because you're reaching your file cabinet?
And Roy, I just allowed you to talk, so you can jump on.
Yeah, thank you, Charles. Yeah, no, we are not using Box. I've seen it for years. We've been on NetSuite for about 10 years now, and
Okay.
I've always seen that Box integration. So I know we're kind of at that threshold of 1 TB before we go to what is it, the ultimate tier,
Yeah.
where they force your hand to it. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at alternatives before it gets too late.
Yeah, I can say we've been using Box for a long time. We're really happy with it as a document management system, and its capabilities. We have played with the integration in NetSuite, so we've actually hooked it up. It's not that hard, and I thought it was pretty helpful and useful. But what we typically find most people end up doing, and it gets the job done, is very similar to this, where as long as you have a Box link, like for instance, like on the accounting close calendar. You just put a hyperlink in NetSuite on any record, a lead record, a customer record, or whatever, and again, you're just jumping right to it right from here. So you may not even need the full-blown integration. I've seen it used. It's good to have if you want, but to be honest, just even using simple links can get you around where you need to go and navigate pretty quickly, if that helps, Roy.
It does. We use drag and drop a lot, so would it play nicely with that integration?
Um, I think Box has its own drag and drop. You could just drag stuff over to a folder in Box.
Mhm.
So you would still have that type of functionality. I don't know specifically within NetSuite that you'd be maybe when it's set up. I don't recall that part being part of the integration. Um, but it would be worth maybe talking to them, getting a demo. I think a lot, like I said, we've been on Box for a long time, so I think a lot's changed, and they even have AI stuff going on with it now. So it'd be worth if you're up against that threshold, it'd be good to start looking at your options. Don't just look at Box either. Maybe you look at some of the other ones, but I can say we've been pretty happy with it.
Cool. Thanks, Dean.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else? Anybody else? Anything else stand out? Maybe you could give us some thoughts about what you'd like to maybe see in future classes, or where are some of the pain points that you're still seeing in the NetSuite space, within your company. Like where are the challenges and the
April,
pitfalls?
April had another question. Will the AI accelerator be able to pull from the intranet also for answers?
I think I would have to test that out. It's possible. I can try it out before next week, April, if that helps. Okay. Anything else standing out, guys?
We got some.
Is there some questions still, Charles?
Yeah. So there's just some chatter here about Cloud Extend. Nikita was giving some uh the link. Nikita, I'll send you a link directly. Um, you said it doesn't send you the link to get the recordings. Let me see. I'll send it to you directly as well.
Yeah, I don't get interesting. Okay. Yeah, we could follow up Nikita and James, make sure you guys get the recording. We have a page that has all the previous recordings on it that's very helpful to access too, so
Yeah, James, did you get the link?
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
James did, or James Verso, James Harden. Here, I'll send you. Try this one. There should be a better non-gated link. And sorry about the invites going out late. Technical difficulty. It's supposed to go out 2 weeks in advance, so sorry about that. Try that link, guys. That should work. It's not gated, so it should be able to give you direct access.
Okay. And I'm kind of curious, I don't want to put Zobel on the spot. I know when we met at Sweet World, Zobel, you were saying you want to see more stuff on scripting. Um, I'll try my best there. That'd be good. But I'm curious, anybody else can maybe open up the conversation. Like, what else would you guys like to see? Uh, NetSuite's such a big system. There's so much that you can kind of, explore. Where would some of the value be that you guys see with what you're up against and what you're seeing?
So a
Either put
couple.
it, yeah.
Zobel said yes.
Yep. Okay.
Roy, next masterclass, APM is a really great tool that I use frequently to look into performance issues. And then James Verso said, list of software firm that can be view. Not
Okay.
sure what that means, James, but
Okay. Well, cool. I mean, yeah, like I said, I appreciate it. I know this was probably a hard Friday for everybody after, last week's Sweet World, and then I know it's quarter end close for quite a few folks. So, I do appreciate those who jumped on. Happy to still take some questions. Could be about anything, NetSuite related. Um, but yeah, really appreciate you spending some time here.
yeah. And I just launched our poll. If you can, just take that survey for us, right? Like I said, it just helps us understand what you guys want on a go-forward basis, right? And Dean and I put together content, really more Dean, on what you guys want to see. Was today helpful? Was it not? And then, so just if you can take 30 seconds, it should have just popped up on your screen. Fill that out. That would be really, really appreciated. And then if you guys had any questions, open Q&A, I can unmute and let you guys talk and just kind of fire away if you like. We got some extra time. Grace says, you may have already covered this, but how to create efficient workflows and how to optimize already existing workflows. We're running into the record has been changed error, and I'm thinking some of our workflows are to blame.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Grace, if you want, it might be easy to actually see some specifics. So if you ever want my contact info, you should be able to see that. We could put it here in the chat too, but could grab some time with me, send me or Charles an email. I'd love to jump on. We could take a look, but we have done some classes, previous classes on workflows, building an approval workflow, automating, creating records, transforming records, doing all kinds of stuff. So if you want to see some of that content, that should already, be in that list of classes that we've already done that Charles provided. So I'd say check those out. But if you're dealing with some specifics, I'd be happy to jump on and maybe, spend some time together, see if we could figure it out.
I allowed you to talk to Grace if you wanted to. Um, uh, and then James, list of software firm that can be used in NetSuiteExampleBox.com.
Oh, okay. Got it. Some helpful software solutions that we've seen.
Yeah. And then I think Roy was giving some feedback.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys? Or what questions you guys have? I know you got plenty. Open forum to get your stuff fixed for free.
Well,
Can't beat that.
I can't guarantee I can fix it on the call here, but at least
Give you some guidance.
yeah,
Some guidance.
maybe.
And then just if you can take 30 seconds and just fill out the survey, that'd be really helpful for us too. And just what we should be looking for and what we should be preparing, etc. Question two is also, we're starting to roll this out. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. Is kind of a gap assessment like conversation for clients, right? Do you think that's helpful? Would that be something you guys would be interested in, right? Where we just kind of talk through how you're set up, and any gaps that we can kind of hear from the conversation, and or kind of leading practices to help, right? Would that be something that you guys would be interested in? I guess my question would be for those that aren't current client. If you're a current client, you got to pay for it. Or you already have, probably.
Or talk to Dean and Charles and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, I mean, we're pretty much done. If you guys can just fill out the survey before you leave, that'd be great. But other than that, we're good to go. Unless you guys have any other questions, this is kind of your time, so feel free to ask any questions you may want. I'll give it a couple more minutes and we'll shut it down a little early this week. I think
Yeah.
everyone's a little NetSuited out from Sweet World and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I know this was the only real Friday that we could make work for this month with some of the vacations and holidays coming up and stuff like that. So appreciate it, everybody.
Good stuff. Roy was saying gap assessment, would you target a particular process like period break, blah, 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 or system gap? Really, it's open. It's not really set in stone. We could look at, particular processes, or we could look at, gaps, overall gaps. A lot of people, Roy, don't have like a strong NetSuite team or IT team, right? So sometimes they're coming in extremely blind, needing a lot of guidance. Usually that's the accounting, maybe operations team reaching out to us. So they're really flying blind versus having a strong IT team as well. So it really depends. I mean, it's a great question. We would kind of keep it open to what you or your company would really need to kind of talk through. Does that answer your question, Roy? And I just unmuted you too if you wanted to chat about it briefly.
Yep, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We
I
have
could
10.
tell you that we've always found something. Some places are a lot more dialed in, and some places are like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't know all this was happening. So sometimes you just gotta kind of peek under the hood and see what's going on.
Yep, there's always room for improvement. We have 10
Always.
full-time NetSuite developers.
Wow.
Wow.
And you keep them fully utilized, busy the whole time?
Uh-huh. I'm the only admin.
Wow.
They're keeping me busy too.
That's impressive.
Do you guys have more than one instance?
We have two NetSuite instances now through an acquisition. So we went from 5 locations to 40 overnight.
Wow.
Wow. What's your business, Roy?
Um, we're in the industrial space, so anything from automation, engineering services to retail of hose and fittings, calibration services, repairs, pretty much anything in the industrial world.
You guys use a project management module?
So, yeah, we've been using that since 2016.
Wow.
Wow, interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah,
It
that's really cool.
I'm kind of curious, like what type of is it just a lot of scripting and customization or work? Like what kind of how do you keep 10 full-time developers busy the whole time? Like what?
You guys must be customizing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have probably 2,000 scripts.
Wow.
Wow. Is your
That-
NetSuite just going at a snail's pace?
No, it's not. I mean, we have technical debt, of course, but we're re-architecting everything. Is this public? Is this being recorded? I
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you're good.
just
You're
piquing our
good.
interest. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could take it offline too. But I just helpful for you to share a little bit what's going on. That's interesting.
Yep. Go to
Um,
crossco.com and you'll see everything that runs NetSuite. Everything you see on that site is run on NetSuite.
wow. Okay. Well, that's awesome. It sounds like you're at least getting utilization out of it.
Mhm.
Um, okay. Well, no, thank you everybody for joining. Like you said, we really appreciate it. Hope you can continue to show up. We like doing these and been getting some positive feedback. So we're going to keep doing it as long as the feedback's there and people are getting something out of it. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me or Charles on anything, you know, feedback, questions, we're here to help and we really appreciate building a community and collaborating together.
Yeah, and we can just give Dean a round of applause here, just a thank you or a D in the chat because
Not a D, man. That's not a good grade.
it's for your initials, man. DC. How
Oh,
about that?
all
How about
right.
a DC?
All right. I need an A
Um,
somewhere in there.
yeah, he put a lot of time and effort into it, especially after coming. There we go, A plus. Thanks, James.
Oh, thank you. Thanks,
There you
James.
go. Coming off of Sweet World, he had to put this together all week, so it takes a lot of time and effort. So good job, Dean. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Charles. Thanks, everybody.
Good stuff, guys. Well, yeah. If you guys have any other questions, let us know. Please fill out the survey, and yeah, we'll be up next month. I don't think we set a date yet. It'll be probably right before Thanksgiving, probably the week
Yeah.
before Thanksgiving, right, Dean?
Think I was targeting maybe the 21st, but we'll coordinate Charles and we'll get our post out. If you follow me and Charles on LinkedIn and Scale North, usually there's posts and reminders and stuff. So just make sure or just contact us if you didn't get the link and you need something. But yeah.
Yeah. You'll get. I'll make sure you'll get the invite for the masterclass at least 2 weeks in advance.
Yep.
I'm gonna make sure this doesn't happen again. So apologize.
Okay.
Um, good stuff, guys. Well, that's it. Appreciate it. Have a great
Thanks,
weekend.
everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.